senators wrap up a week of debate ahead of a fierce confirmation battle for President Trump's Supreme Court pick. Pro-life activists are encouraging his critics to bring up abortion.
If the opposition and the Democratic Party wants to make abortion the issue in this Supreme Court nomination and go after Judge Kavanaugh on the issue of abortion, it will probably prove helpful to the pro-life side.
David Osteen predicts Democrat senators up for re-election will be in trouble if they vote against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. He says the majority of Americans who vote on the issue of abortion choose pro-life candidates. For more analysis, we're joined by Lydia Wheeler, a reporter for The Hill who has been covering Judge Kavanaugh. Lydia, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Will the confirmation be a big issue in terms of the midterms? And Democrats who are in red states under pressure to confirm him, how many are being affected by this?
This could very well affect the midterms. There are about 10 senators that are up for re-election that are in red states that are Democrats, and they are feeling the pressure from both sides of the aisle here to either vote for or against Kavanaugh.
This week, Judge Kavanaugh met with Republican leaders in the Senate. Will they have a hard time convincing their colleagues to confirm him?
Right, so this is kind of typical and routine. They kind of make the rounds after the nomination. They start with the members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, which first start hearing, that do the confirmation hearings. So they're going through the Republican side. He has not yet met with the Democrats, but so far it seems like all of their Republicans are on board in terms of committee membership. But we still have some centrist Republicans like Lisa Murkowski and Senator Susan Collins that the jury's still out on. And Senator Collins has made some comments about that she's worried about how his views on Roe v. Wade are and whether or not he would be a vote to overturn that law that gave women the right to an abortion.
Kavanaugh has been on the bench for 12 years. He served in the White House under George W. Bush. He has a lot of experience, but people are also concerned whether or not he has any skeletons in the closet. How big of a concern is that?
Right, so there is a big paper trail here, and kind of the chase is on, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone is digging through his records, and they're kind of scattered. They're all over the place. There's some in the National Archives that have to deal with his time working for the independent counsel Kenneth Starr, which did the investigation into the Clintons. And then there's his time in the Bush White House, and those are held at the Bush Library. And then there's over 300 opinions, which are already public through the federal court's online filing system called PACER. So there's a lot to go through here, and the Judiciary Committee is going to have to request these documents, and the White House is going to have to look through them and decide if any of it is privileged.
This week in the Wall Street Journal, a professor at Yale Law School highlights what she calls a lesser well-known side of Kavanaugh, which is his mentorship of women. What's his track record on that?
He seems like he is very supportive of women. I mean, when he came, he kind of gave his acceptance speech. He highlighted his mother quite a bit. And so, it remains to be seen kind of what his views are there on women's rights. So we still have a lot to look for here.
Okay, well, I'm sure, like I said, a lot more things are going to be uncovered, especially in the next few weeks, and we'll be following that. Lydia Wheeler, legal and regulatory affairs reporter for The Hill, thanks so much for your analysis.
Thanks for having me.